Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With an active monsoon season expected this year, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help, offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroofing.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroofing.com. This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Friday, the 13th of June. I'm Michael Groff. The weather around here, a little bit scary this weekend, especially if you're afraid of hot temperatures. Might want to stay indoors in front of the fan, the air conditioner, because the hottest temperatures we've had so far this year will be in here about that time. But the questions are, how long will it last? How hot will it get? What about some monsoon activity? Boy, we could use some more rain around here. Any sign of that pattern change that we see here later on in the month of June or into July? We'll talk about that and everything else. But before we do, it's Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and or videos that you guys have submitted. And first up, David Parnell. And no, he was not out at a high school or college sporting event because, well, it's the summer. So instead, he was down at the inaugural run of the southern extent of the light rail that opened this past weekend. He was one of the first passengers on board. They had a big celebration down there, and it was hot. But hey, it's to celebrate the light rail, and we all we all love the light rail here, right? I mean, it's totally not a waste of taxpayer dollars at all. Great investment, and it's going to be very, very successable. All right. Then we go from that over to Austin, who sends in an interesting picture. Now, he sent this talking about the rain that we had earlier this month on the 1st through the 3rd. And this is a graphic. I believe he pulled this from the Maricopa County Flood Control District. Now, I don't normally use this graphic here because it's kind of hard to read. It's small, especially for me. But he was wondering, was there really 5+ inches of rain from the 1st through the 3rd here in Phoenix someplace? Or are these numbers inaccurate? And look, I don't know where they pulled some of these numbers from because, no, there wasn't 5.5 inches of rain that I'm aware of. The heaviest reports of rainfall I got, some isolated spots, 1, 2, 2.5 inches of rain in a few locations. But that's a far cry from what we've had. I don't know if that's the water year total, but even that would be off. I don't know. Those are interesting numbers. Again, I don't use that site. I use the National Weather Service site for pulling all that data, but interesting to talk about. Now, more interesting, though, was some other pictures that he sent in from up in northern Arizona around 89A. That, folks, is a land spout tornado, or what we commonly call a spin-up tornado. These things are very brief. They don't last long. They're not particularly powerful, typically, although you probably wouldn't want to have one rolling through your neighborhood. Still, cool to see those things. They are very difficult to warn for in the weather biz because by the time you spot them, by the time you confirm they're there, and by the time the National Weather Service puts out a warning for them, they're typically gone. That's the nature of spin-up tornadoes. They still are real tornadoes. People ask, well, is a landspout tornado even a real tornado? Yes, they are. They're just not created typically by a supercell storm, a mesocyclone. Instead, they are usually on the leading edge, the outflow boundaries, the gust front, if you will, of a thunderstorm. And that's why they typically do not last very long, but they're impressive nonetheless. Great shot there, courtesy of Austin. All right, by the way, Arizona averages about 5 tornadoes every year, so they're unusual around here, but they're not unheard of. That's for sure. All right, we head further to the north across Montana. Buck, he said got some storms, a little bit of rain up there, and today Buck might be experiencing some showers and thunderstorms, maybe some strong storms, as we'll talk about in just a moment. But at least, hey, somebody's getting some rain. That's good news. And then let's take a look here. This is from Joe, who normally is here in the valley, but he went up to southern Maine. And look at that view of the sunset. Sun going down there, and that is, of course, enhanced by that Canadian wildfire smoke that we've been talking about for quite a while. So there you go. And I know on social media, there's a lot of conspiracies about that and about the strawberry moon. And I mean, if you ever go down the rabbit hole of some of the crazy stuff people say about what's going on with very easily explained things, you will definitely lose some IQ points. I suggest you just don't do it. But anyway, that's Photo Friday for the week. groffshow@gmail.com. That's the email address to submit your photos or videos, groffshow@gmail.com. Really do appreciate it. Thank you guys, all of you, so much for all of your contributions. We could not do this segment without you, obviously. Otherwise, it would just be me and maybe Michelle posting pictures of our dogs and our cat. All right. Let's, for the sake of tradition, let's take a look at this. I know this is not the most pleasant part of the video, but here you go. The almanac from yesterday. 108 degrees, the afternoon high. 84 was the morning low. 104 and 78 are the averages for this time of year. Outside now, just after 12 noon, sunny sky. And it's already cooking out there. 99 degrees at Sky Harbor. The dew point's crept up a little bit to 47. Relative humidity, 17%. The winds are light. The barometer is falling. Temperatures, okay, across the area right now, I see 104 at Collier, 103 at Litchfield Park, 101 in Sun City, and 100 degrees in Chandler. And if you're not in the triple digits yet, you will be soon. Mid and upper 90s across much of the rest of the valley. Afternoon temperatures today topping out much as they have this week, around 104 to 108. Why is it so hot? Well, of course, we show you here on the satellite picture across the west. High pressure is in control. And of course, high pressure means subsidence. That's sinking air. That's compressed air. That means clouds cannot form. Air doesn't rise and form clouds. Instead, it sinks. It compresses and it heats up. And the farther that air sinks, the hotter it gets. And so as those ridges build and get stronger, it just makes it hotter around here. And that's what we'll be experiencing this weekend. But for now, yes, severe clear here across Arizona, and that's going to remain the case for some time. The watch warning map, there's our old summertime friend, the excessive, or now it's called the extreme heat warning from southeast California through southwest, south central Arizona, as well as the west central and northwestern parts of the state. Places included in that, Phoenix, Casa Grande, Gila Bend, Yuma, Parker, Quartzsite, up through Kingman, and yes, up into the Mojave Desert, the Las Vegas Valley. And for us, this warning is in effect from 10 a.m. Saturday through 8 p.m. on Monday. And even though we might get a little bit of a reprieve on Tuesday, there may be a need for another extreme heat warning later next week, as we'll talk about in a moment. Elsewhere, some flood watches over parts of southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana, as well as over eastern Virginia. Let's take a look at the convective outlook for today. The enhanced risk of severe storms, level 3 out of 5, and of all places, parts of Montana, Miles City, Helena, Great Falls, and where you don't have the enhanced risk, there's that slight risk, level 2 out of 5, and that goes down through the central and northern Rockies, through the western high plains, and a marginal risk for the adjacent areas, and a couple other marginal risks on the board. Of course, things around here are quiet. The tropics in the East Pacific have been anything but quiet. We're on our 4th storm of the season so far. This is Delilah. Terrible radio show and all, and she's just out there off the coast of Mexico drifting around, not going to impact our weather. This should probably remain a tropical storm as it continues to move to the northwest and ultimately off to the west and fizzles out. But how about that? 4 tropical cyclones out there already, and we're only at the 13th of June, so it could wind up being quite active in the East Pacific. All right, not active is the precipitation outlook, valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, nothing. Region-wide, not much. High pressure will remain in control. No sign of any major surges of moisture in here, at least not yet. But how long is that going to last? We'll figure it out, see what the future may hold as we take a look at the models. Check it out. This is the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. All right. You know the deal by now. High pressure is in control out here across the west. There's a trough that's slowly developing along the Pacific Northwest coast, and that's going to nudge our ridge off to the east, but also amplify it at the same time, which is going to result in hotter temperatures. But for the rest of the day today down at the surface, what you see is what you get. Sunny, highs 104 to 108. It's kind of a rinse repeat of what we've had the last few days. Tonight, the sky is clear. The air is dry. Overnight lows in the 70s for most of us. Around 80, maybe the low 80s in the urban core. And then tomorrow, as mentioned, that ridge begins to amplify. High temperatures around 106 to 110. So this would be our first 110-degree day of the year, and certainly not the last, because we'll follow it up on Sunday with highs around 109 to 113. And looking across the region, it's just scorching hot. 114 for Lake Havasu City. Obviously, there's our 113, and we'll see that repeated across the lower deserts, 111 in Tucson. And how about if you want to escape the heat, you want to go to Flagstaff? Yeah, upper 80s, 87 degrees. If you really want to escape the heat, though, may I suggest San Diego, 77. That sounds good. 109 in Las Vegas. So it's hot all across the Southwest, and that's going to remain the case not only on Sunday, but let's go to Monday. Temperatures will be almost identical there, too. 109 to 113 here in the valley, with the hottest desert spots flirting with 115 degrees across southeast California, southwest Arizona. Now, as we go to Tuesday, that aforementioned trough over the Pacific Northwest moves east, skirts across the region. That should bring slightly cooler temperatures in here. Highs about 103 to 108 on Tuesday here in the valley. Maybe some breezes at times. But that cool down doesn't last. In fact, high pressure will build back in very quickly. So Wednesday, highs are back to around 107 to 111. Might need to reissue or issue a new extreme heat warning later next week. Highs 108 to 112 next Thursday. And again, the air remains dry. Let's keep going. This is a week from today, Friday the 20th. Another trough is along the Pacific Northwest coast. And we've got a ridge that's kind of sitting around here just off to the east of us, a south-southwesterly flow. So that looks pretty hot and pretty dry. Highs 107 to 112 if that works out. This is Saturday the 21st. And again, more of the same. Sunday the 22nd. And look, we might see a little bit of moisture creeping into eastern Arizona at some point out here for an isolated shower or thunderstorm. But by and large, it sure looks like things are going to remain rather quiet, at least for the next 10 days. Now, kind of looking longer range, signs that that subtropical ridge builds a little bit further to the north and west are out there. But we'll just have to see. Look, if you're looking for the monsoon, if you're looking for thunderstorms here in Phoenix, rain in Phoenix from the monsoon, typically that doesn't happen until at least the first week of July. So we're still about 3-4 weeks away from that. And of course, the last few monsoon seasons, 2024, 23, 2020, 2019, they were very, very lackluster. 2021 was a fairly robust monsoon season for us, with 2022 being fairly average. But if you look at 4 of the last 6, they have been busts. And hopefully that's not the case this year. We're still looking on track to have a pretty decent monsoon around here. The Climate Prediction Center says an active monsoon for us with above average precipitation favored. And I hope that remains the case. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix. This goes out through the 27th of the month. This is off the GFS ensemble. Rain amounts here in the valley, it's still got us way under 1/10 of an inch. A few members show precipitation. European ensemble, just a handful. So again, sure looks like we're going to stay dry for at least the next couple of weeks. And then temperatures off the national blend of models. Well, no record highs on this, but yeah, we're going to be pretty close to, if not above 110 on many days for at least the next 10 days. No real signs of big incursions of moisture. And those overnight lows are gradually getting warmer too, 70s and 80s. And eventually, as we all know, once we start getting toward July and August, lows will mostly be in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, just warning you, that's coming around the corner. All right, so as you very well may know, the executive producer of these videos, the Phoenix, Arizona Weather Discussion, I tell you every day, she is my OAO, my one and only, the Asian sensation, my Michelle. And I'm going to talk to you for a moment if I can. Look, if you are someone that is starting a business, you have a business, you're looking to bring someone into your company that's going to have an immediate impact, somebody that has more than 2 decades of experience with information systems, process improvements, management, business acumen, then might I recommend you bring in Michelle. I mean, she will definitely get it done for whatever it is that you're trying to do with your business. She's there to offer her wealth of experience, her knowledge. So really just want you to consider that, if you will. Michelle, for us around here, is just an invaluable asset. As you know, she's our executive producer here on these videos, but beyond that, she's also our music director and creative consultant over on our streaming station, KMGX. She, of course, has her regular job that she does, but she's looking for something, a bigger challenge, a new challenge in her life. And so if you're somebody that can offer that, if you're somebody that's out there and you're looking to improve and, again, have an immediate impact, then might I recommend you bring in my one and only Michelle. And if you want to get in contact with her, Caddell, CADDELL.Michelle, MICHELLE @gmail.com. Or, of course, you can contact me, and I'll pass that along as well. All right, with that being said, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we do here, you want to support the channel, help us out, Groff Show, GROFF show @gmail.com is our PayPal address. It's GROFF show @gmail.com. You can click that thanks icon below the video. You can also use our Venmo. And again, all of that is linked up in the description. And of course, not only does Michelle have all of that business acumen and everything else that she does, but she is also the proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. And of course, her blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, quite possibly Adriana related. And again, you can find that all linked up down in the description, as well as our streaming station available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music and have a lot of fun over there. All right. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. We couldn't do these videos without you. I assure you of that. Please be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a delightful rest of your Friday and a great weekend.